off your engine!
Anderson says, what do you think of retread, recaps, remolded tires? Bridgestone seems a good manufacturer. Are they safe or will I die horribly? I like the idea that they cost less and are ecological because you're reusing them. No, don't use them. When I was younger, they tried retread tires too and it failed miserably. It's all right for retread tires for the big 18-wheeler trucks because their tire cores have many more plies. They're much stronger, better built, and they retread them. But even then, as you're driving down the highway, you ever notice there's these big chunks of tires sometimes on the side of the road? Those are retread tires that fell apart. Like I say, for the big boys, and they have much better made tires in the first place, with the inside are called the carcass of the old turkey. When you eat the turkey at Thanksgiving, they can keep putting rubber back on it, and they have pretty good inspection processes so that if the carcass is shot, they throw it away and say, we can't retread that one, we'll just throw that one away. Retread car tires for the private individuals have always failed. I can't see the new ones being any different than the other ones. Just buy good new tires and don't worry about it, because from my experience the last 52 years, I've never seen really good retread, remolded tires that were put on regular passenger cars. Like I say, the big boys, the 18-wheelers, it's a different ball game, but for regular tires, just buy new tires, spend a little bit more. Don't risk your life on some crappy recap tire for private individual driving. Mama Bear of 7 Cubs says, help me out. I'm a single mom of 7 with no money. I got a 2000 Cadillac Escalade. It ran out of gas, put it in and started. Now it won't start. A guy said it might be your flywheel. They want a bunch of money, $5,000. Hell, if you're a mother of 7 with no money, you should not be driving a 2000 Cadillac Escalade. That's a 21-year-old Cadillac, and at that age, they become endless money pits. Plus, it's an Escalade. It gets horrible gas mileage. You're going to be using a ton of gas, too. Find a good mechanic like me to at least check it out, and hope that this is a scenario. If you actually ran out of gas and then you try starting a car, the fuel pump in that Escalade is inside the gas tank. So if you try to start it when the gas tank is empty, it will suck air. Sucking air into that electric pump will burn it out. It might sound insane, but it's the gasoline in your gas tank that actually lubricates the bearings of the electric pump. Gasoline is kind of slimy, and it lubricates it. When you're driving down the road, there's plenty of fuel lubricating and cooling the pump. But if you actually run out of gas, that pump sucks air. That'll burn out the bearings of the fuel pump. So pray it's just a bad fuel pump. But as I said, that is a 21-year-old Cadillac Escalade. It is an endless money pit. You shouldn't be driving it for much longer because it's going to kill you one way or the other. They're expensive to repair. They get horrible gas mileage. And I mean, sad but true, if you're a single mom with 7 kids, that Cadillac Escalade is going to bankrupt you. Rod 70 says, I got a 99 Honda Passport with a spooky issue. Every once in a while, when I'm idling, the RPM will drop, the car will jerk, and it goes back to normal. It happens when it's in gear, not in neutral or park. Maybe a torque converter issue. You want to pray that it is just the torque converter. But it's a 99. You didn't see how many miles it's got on it. I'm assuming it's got a lot of mileage. I mean, if you wanted to go through the trouble of pulling a transmission off and putting a new torque converter on, go right ahead. If you're doing it yourself, it's not going to cost you all that much money. But if that didn't fix it, odds are, I know those things, the transmission's going out. And if it is, you got to decide, are you going to spend $3 to $5 grand to have it completely remanufactured, or are you just going to say goodbye? Most people are going to say goodbye because, I mean, it was just an Isuzu rodeo. Back in the day, Honda didn't make those things. They just bought them from Isuzu. Now, Honda makes their own stuff, like the Pilots. They're not bad vehicles, but that's just an Isuzu. And you wouldn't want to put too much money in it because it's pretty much worthless. But hey, if you want to try a torque converter, go right ahead. It could be the torque converter's going out. I've seen them go out like that, but I've also seen the transmissions go out too. Just Baldy says, Scotty, me and my brother keep arguing. What's the right way to stop at a manual transmission? I say go to neutral, and he says downshifting, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Who is right? Well, it depends how you want to drive the car. Now, if you want it to last as long as possible, your method is best because brakes are cheap. Transmission, clutch parts, engines are very expensive. His way will stop the car faster. Of course, that's what race cars do because race cars want to go as fast as they possibly can. So they are always downshifting to keep the RPMs up and so they can go faster. You're going to wear out the car slower. He's going to wear it out a lot faster. Now, in an emergency situation, he's right because you want to stop as fast as possible and you're going to get engine drag to slow it down. But you're wearing the engine out faster, the clutch, the transmission. So if you want it to last a long time and you're not driving like a maniac, or it's not an emergency situation like an 18-wheeler just jackknifed in front of you, you can stop it your way. But if you do have to stop as fast as possible, downshift and slamming on the brakes is the best. Frozen 556 says, I made a big mistake. I got transmission fluid in my intake manifold. I spilled transmission fluid all over it by chance. Now it acts funny in the manifold. Smoke is there. It's not as thick as it was yesterday, but there's still some there. How can I fix it? Realize once oil gets into an intake, it can take a long time for all that crap to get out. Back in the day when I was a young mechanic with my grandfather in the 60s, they would often smoke for days or sometimes even a week or two because there's a lot of oil and it's just air being sucked over it. I would say drive the thing a good week or two and you'll probably find that it will all go away. What you want to hope is that you didn't get so much in there that the engine sucked a bunch of it in the beginning and hydro-locked the engine. If it did, that will bend the connecting rods for the pistons, and then you're going to have to rebuild the engine. But give it a couple weeks of driving, because if it's damaged, it's already damaged. It doesn't matter if you drive it. You're going to have to rebuild it anyways. Pray that you drive it around for a week or two, and the smoke goes away and it runs okay. It very well could. But if you got too much in it and you ran it, it could have hydro-locked the engine and bent the piston connecting rods, and then that's it. You'd have to rebuild the engine. There's no cheap fix for that. Tweety 713 says, both of my cooling fans stay on all the time at 98 Avalon with 158,000 miles. What could be the problem? Can this make my car overheat? Au contraire, it would make your car not overheat because you got wind blowing the whole time. And nothing wrong with it. Now, it's an old vehicle. The way the fans work is when you turn the AC on, that turns those two fans on. And if you don't have the AC on while you're driving down the road, there's a temperature sensor. And as it reaches a certain temperature, it turns the fans on. Then when it cools down, it turns the fans off. You might have a bad coolant temperature sensor. You might as well go buy one of those. They're not that expensive. Put it on and see. But it can also be a bad computer. And if that's the case, I would not bother to get a computer for $1,000-something bucks and have it reprogrammed. I would just leave it there. It's not going to hurt anything because it's just blowing air through the radiator to help cool things down. Your temperature of your engine is controlled by the thermostat. If it actually got too cool from blowing too much air, the thermostat would close some so it would run the normal temperature. So you don't have to worry about it. And I mean, hey, as long as it drives good and if you got an air conditioner on it, your air conditioner, of course, is going to work better with them running all the time because the more air it sucks, better it is. Now, it would knock your gas mileage down a tiny, tiny bit, like maybe 1/4 of a mile per gallon or something. It wouldn't make all that much difference and a little bit of electric power that it uses when it's running those fans. So I wouldn't even worry about it. Now, here's one that totally amazes me. They're having an auction, and it's your last chance to nab a Mercedes F1 motor. That is a V10 motor that they used to use in the Formula One racing. This particular one is a 2004 Mercedes V10. It's being auctioned out by Sotheby's. It's a 3-liter engine, and it produced about 900 horsepower at 18,300 RPM. That is a lot of RPMs for a V10 motor when you think about it. They're assuming that it's going to go for between $46,000 and $69,000. Now, this kind of amazes me because it's got two catches if you bid on this thing and win. One, you got to figure out how to get it from Germany. They don't have it there in London. They're just auctioning the thing off. And the second thing is, the engine doesn't even contain pistons and connecting rods. So for all that money, you're not even getting a whole engine that runs. You're getting a giant paperweight. So I guess this is for those of you who want to have a Mercedes Formula One race car engine that you can show off to your friends that doesn't actually run because it doesn't have pistons in it. Sometimes it amazes me, the stuff that people will buy. I remember years ago, I had a customer and his ex-wife married a guy in New Mexico who did nothing but rebuild Indian motorcycles, the famous Indian motorcycles, right? And the guy laughed because he said over half of the ones he sold, they didn't have pistons, connecting rods in them either. They didn't even have oil in the engines. He just made them and they were like giant toys that guys would put wherever they were in front of their fireplace or in their collection that they never even bothered to put pistons in. They're never going to run the things. They're just for show. So if you want to buy a show Formula One Mercedes V10 engine for, $45,000 to $69,000, hey, you better hurry up because they're auctioning it up at Sotheby's soon. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.